right, call this meeting to order, and it is July 1st, 2025, and this morning we are led in our invocation by Pastor Roberson from the Church at Crossing. We're thankful that you're here to do that for us, sir. We will be led in our Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Kirkland this morning. If you're able to stand, we'd love for you to do so.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we just come before you and we just thank you for life. We thank you for this great community that we live in. We thank you for our leadership that lead us so well. And everyone, it's a joy to serve our community and to make it better. I pray for this meeting today. I pray that you will just for strategy, pray for just creative solutions, Lord. Lord, we just pray for cooperation in the midst of disagreements. And ultimately, we thank you for our leadership that serve us so well. And ultimately, to you, we thank you for the ultimate demonstration of your love for us through your Son, Jesus. And we just pray that you will bless this meeting. And it's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. City Clerk, if you will take note that we have Commissioner Dorsey and Commissioner Pierce unable to be here today. And Commission, if we could get the minutes of the June 17th, 2025 meeting approved, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second is for approval. Any discussion? All in favor say yay.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. All right, this morning we have communications from the Mayor and City Commissioners on your agendas. Item number 5. We have a proclamation for Parks and Recreation Month. Mr. Billy Powell, Director of Dothan Leisure Services, will meet me at the podium. We have a lot of great departments in the city of Dothan, and one of my favorites, because everyone likes to play, is our Parks and Rec and Leisure Services Department. Everybody else is great too, by the way. Y'all throwing a dart at me or something.
I'll protect.
Yeah, thank you. And but they do a great job. We have a lot of great facilities all across the town, and I appreciate Billy, what you and all your team has continued to do for our city and as well. And I know the citizens do as well. So this morning, we are celebrating and proclaiming the Parks and Recreation Month. Whereas the Parks and Recreation is an integral part of the communities throughout this country, including Dothan and Alabama. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation is a leading provider of healthy meals, nutrition services, and education. And whereas Park and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increases a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas Parks and Recreation is essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a space and place for children and adults to connect with nature and recognition outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July's Parks and Recreation Month in Dothan, recognize the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources. Now, therefore, I, Mark Saliba, Mayor of the City of Dothan, in such capacity do hereby proclaim July as Parks and Recreation Month. That is a lot that we just covered, I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Yes. Appreciate you. Mayor, thank you, and Commissioners and City Manager Randy, thank you all for your continued support of what we do day in and day out to provide the the importance of quality of life. They provide the importance of top-notch facilities such as our rec centers, our parks, our trails, baseball fields, softball fields, soon-to-be pickleball courts. You know, those are great opportunity for people to come out to enjoy it through competition or to be social with others, to continue bringing family members and memories and even mental health. You know, you have people out there that just needs a peaceful park to just to sit and relax and regroup from whatever troubles they might have. So again, thank you for what y'all do day in and day out. And also, this recognized the 40th year of celebration through NRPA, this National Recreation and Parks Association. And not only we recognize what facilities and quality of life that we can offer, but also the staff that we hire that make sure all this happens. And first, you know, with top priorities and make sure we are providing the best at all times. Again, thank you, Mayor. Yes, a lot of information, but we do a lot for the city of Dothan and appreciate you all as well.
Thank you.
All right, communications, Commissioner Kirkland?
Just appreciate the department heads and all you guys doing. Chief, I know we've had some tough things going on in the city, so thank you for all the updates and everything the police department is doing, but we got to ask the community to continue to help with all of these things that we have going on to help protect our city. So there's a lot been going on, but I appreciate all the updates. Also, Clay Dempsey, I appreciate everything you're doing. The concert at Jill Scott was incredible, so some good things going on in the city. Appreciate that. We appreciate you guys. That's all, man.
Thank you, sir.
I would just like to express my appreciation for our neighborhood enhancement program. Not only do they keep our neighborhoods clean, but they have been picking up all the campaign signs, bringing them back to the police department, then they turn right back around, put them out, then neighborhood enhancement's got to go pick them up again. So, Todd, I just want to say thank you to those people. And they actually did a lot better in my election because they're actually sorting them for them. Used to, you had a big pile, you had to shuffle around, and the other thing, my son did an archery camp. I absolutely loved it. We used to have a top-tier, archery program, Mr. Billy, but the guy who was volunteering, he's working like 55, 60 hours a week. You probably met him. Well, just out of the blue, I posted that about my son. There's another guy that would maybe help. He's just kind of interested. I want to give you his number until we get that program, so maybe they can just tag team it. Thank you, sir. But, a couple people from that program went to state.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Mayor, I'd wish to offer my condolences to the family of Mr. Bill Adams and also Mr. Bob Theeney. Both of them are very active members of our community, did a lot for our city, and they'll be sorely missed. And also want to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you.
Yeah, my condolences as well. Both of them contributed greatly to this community. Just thanking our department heads, I think I reached out to most of them, and hopefully with not too bad attitudes. I may have, I think some of the work on Main Street is starting to get to everybody. Your car hits it. So that, and just responding very quickly to that and other concerns around the city. And just there's so many positive things going on. If you ride around and just take a look, it eventually will come together. And I'm looking forward to some of that happening here in the next few months, into this year and then early in the next year. And then, again, I'm not a barrel hater. So when those move somewhere else and we work on something else, it's just going to be the benefit of the city. It's just a little short-term pain that in the long term, it will pay off. So I appreciate everybody's continued patience. So thank you. That's all.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, city manager.
Thank you, sir. First off, I'd like to invite up Stephen Peacock with General Services for our Employee of the Month. Stephen Peacock has worked in the Fleet Division of General Services for over 20 years. He is currently the medium heavy-duty equipment supervisor. He started his career with the city in 2001 on night shift as a Fleet Technician 1 and quickly advanced to Fleet Technician 3. Through hard work, dedication, and excellent performance, he advanced to the supervisor position. He has never settled to be average, but rather sets an example for others to follow. Stephen has a very positive attitude that is contagious. His willingness to meet every challenge head-on sets the tone for the city shop. He is a team player and is always willing to help others. He earns respect by getting personally involved with the day-to-day vehicle repair challenges that city shop personnel face. Even if it is not in his area of responsibility, he volunteers to help others solve problems. Stephen always has a smile and a "what can I do to help" attitude. He's a role model both at work and his activities outside of work. He's a servant leader dedicated to keeping critical fleets like fire and garbage trucks fully mission capable to enable those departments to provide for the needs of the citizens of Dothan. Stephen is consistently dependable. He sets high standards for himself and expects his coworkers to also have high standards. He always strives for excellence. His positive and giving spirit is an inspiration to everyone. His vast experience with multiple pieces of equipment and vehicles is a treasure chest of knowledge that he freely shares with his coworkers. Let us congratulate Stephen Peacock as the July 2025 Employee of the Month.
I'd just like to echo quickly what Randy said. Stephen truly is a servant leader and service before self. He's a model employee for us and does a lot to keep some of our critical fleets, fire trucks, garbage trucks, moving every day. Works hard with his team behind the scenes to keep things moving for the city. He's just one of those wonderful employees that we have here in the city that just shows up every day with a smile on his face, does his job, and provides services for the citizens of Dothan, enables us to do the things that we need to do as a city government. So I'm proud to have Stephen in my department and proud of the work he does for us and for the city of Dothan. And congratulations to him for this Employee of the Month today. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite Tommy Wright up, Public Works Director, to give us an update on some of those out-hot projects that Commissioner Crutchfield was referring to.
Can we swear him in?
I thought I was going during the admin meeting. Can we pull up there we go. I put a picture show together just to distract you guys from what I'm saying, man. Ross Clark Circle project is what you're seeing here on this slide. Basically, at this point, the continued effort is to get the storm drain in place. They're having to construct the storm inlets about every 75 to 100 feet, and that's taking a tremendous amount of time on their subconsultants. Once that's complete, APAC will come back in and finish their work fairly quickly. We're looking at the end of July to actually get those crossover lanes constructed. So at that point, we'll kind of see the final operation of the project at that point. All the lanes won't be complete, but at least we can get traffic crossing the circle on both ends of the project at that time. Signal work should be happening here during this month as well, so just wrapping up about the same time that those lanes are constructed. And at that point, we'll start, like I said, we'll see everything functioning. There's going to be the additional lane to be pulled on the service road on the SAM side. That should happen about the same time that everything's open so that we can get the 3 lanes traveling on that side of the service road. Then they'll follow suit and pave on the service road. There's still some work on the north end of the project near Cherokee and Bondi's Ford in that area. There'll be some slight modifications to the medians in that area. We're keeping them open right now so that customers can move freely as they have in the past, but there will be some minor changes to that in the future. Once these 2 lanes are complete, then APAC will move in and start doing their overall leveling for the project. Essentially, the entire footprint of the project is going to be resurfaced twice. They'll come in once with the leveling. They'll help us a lot with the roller coaster ride that we're getting through there right now. As that's wrapping up, we expect to see the lighting come into place and go into operation. And then at that point, APAC's hoping to come in September and do that final wearing surface on the entire project. Following that, you're going to have your temporary permanent striping, your RPMs, everything like that goes into place, and then some additional landscaping and cleanup work. So we're still hopeful for the September-October range, probably final true completion in the Thanksgiving type range, but it's not going to be anything that's impacting traffic at that point. It's going to be cleaned up on the project. And don't take notes, we can't be quoted.
You're under oath.
But you guys are aware of the weather at this point. Everything we do at this point is dependent on this weather. When that area that you see on the picture turns into one big mud hole, it's hard for those guys to get in there and complete that work. So everything we say has an asterisk with due to weather moving forward, but we're certainly hopeful at this point. Eventually, the rain has to ease off a little bit, and these guys can get back out there. But just know that right now, these guys are working. They're in the hole where the inlets are going, and as soon as they get out of the way, then you're going to see some tremendous effort from APAC as they roll into their heavy equipment again and get everything paved and moving forward. So, very hopeful. It is on time as far as the overall project schedule goes. I know it seems like it's been forever. This was a 3-year project from the start, and so far they're holding true to that. So, very good progress on their part.
When do we have our next ALDOT update? Is that coming up? Is it next week?
The quarterly meeting is next week, I believe. Yes,
And when in the past, we've discussed signs with them, and
yes, sir.
so if that maybe could get on the communication with them again when we meet with them this next week. And
Absolutely. And then there's also a separate project that's got some of the overhead signs coming in.
Okay.
I don't know the timeline on that, but it's definitely coming down the pipeline.
Because I would think that would be something that we,
Yes, sir.
imperative, so, thank you.
So they have agreed to put in some overhead signs? That was a,
It's a separate project. It's not
Okay.
part of this project.
Okay.
It is coming in. There's an ITS project. It's Intelligent Transportation Systems type project that's coming in.
Okay.
This is a separate pot of money. And you'll see those go in on, as you're coming in on Montgomery's, headed south on Montgomery Highway.
that would be great.
Give you some additional directions on what to expect moving forward.
All right.
We're hoping to get some of the real-time traffic data broadcast on those signs as well to help people make decisions as they come into Dothan. If there is an event somewhere that needs to be avoided, we can help begin the process of helping direct traffic the most efficient way through Dothan.
That'd be great.
So
Thank you.
those are permanent digital type
Yes.
signs?
Yes, sir. They'll be roadside. They're not going over the road. They're the cantilever style that goes on only one side of the road. And I'll follow up some timelines on that information as well.
Tony, I think that's a great picture. If we can get that picture, I mean, the before and after, I mean, that's a nice picture to see what's coming. And if people know, hey, by Thanksgiving, by the holidays, our city's gonna look like that. If we
Yes,
can get that posted or something, I think that's a great picture.
Yeah, it is.
Someone to be able to see what's coming.
The barrels certainly aggravate us on a daily basis as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
One last thing for me. I know y'all have been updating off and on. I know there haven't been as much attendance from the businesses, but I just want to make sure we're continuing to at least offer it, updating the businesses that are affected up and down the.
Yes, sir. We've been a little slack. The last meeting we held, we had one business owner attend. So it kind of took the flair out of those meetings.
Yes,
But we can certainly have another one and just express what to expect over the next few
I
months.
just don't want them to say that we didn't try on our
Yes, sir.
part, on the city's part, so,
Yes, sir.
Main Street.
Next project, I'm gonna say Main Street for last.
Oh.
This is 231 South at Ross Clark Circle. Same thing, APAC is working on this project. For the most part, the majority of the heavy construction is complete. They've got the turn lanes built, the extension of the southbound turn lanes, the extension of the northbound turn lanes, that has all been constructed. They're getting asphalt down now. By the end of July, they should roll in and start milling the entire footprint of the project. So everything within this intersection will be resurfaced following that. Looking to complete the project by late July. This traffic signal has already been upgraded, so that work is actually completed this time. So again, as far as the rain holds off, we should see this one wrap up by the end of August.
Tommy, I was out there the other day. Is it gonna be dual right turn lanes headed south off the circle now? Did I see that, or am I imagining that?
I think it's still a single turn lane, but it's
Is it?
gonna be a free flow lane. There's probably some asphalt between the turn lane and the
Okay.
through lanes.
So no stopping, okay, keep going.
Right.
Okay,
And it'll carry on all the way down to Southgate before you have to merge back into 2 lanes of traffic.
good.
So they're not gonna signalize that in
No,
front of the hobo pantry there, like
No,
Friend Bank?
you'll have your own lane to turn right on.
Keep
so
moving
you can-
sign.
You can keep moving.
What if you're trying to turn on Campbellton, you just gotta play
turn.
Frogger there,
Turn
kinda
right.
shoot the gap?
Yes.
Turn
Okay.
right quick.
That'd be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so no business access or anything like that was modified with this project. If ALDOT comes through with additional circle widening, we may look at some restricted access in different areas.
they're not doing anything on the circle, turning left, turning south. They're not extending those turn lanes as part of this project. I haven't seen anything, like in front of Flying J, taking a left to turn on 231
Not
South.
at this time. No, sir.
Is that a different project?
There's nothing in the works right now. That would be future, probably go along with the widening of the circle if we try to push the 6-lane section through that area. Next up. This one's fun. West Main at John D. Odom. This is one of our A-Trip projects where we're heavily funded by ALDOT, but the city also has a contribution to the project. Same thing, before you start any good road project, the storm drain has been installed at this point, and they're putting in some of the binder layers on the western median of the project. You can see where the new U-turn lanes have already been paved, and the additional westbound lane going out towards Grove Park has already been paved at this point. There will be some night closures coming up in the next week or so. Those were scheduled for last week, but rain prohibited that work to happen. So they're going to have to run some pipe across the median in the roadway there. It's going to be a nighttime closure. If you're coming up John D. Odom, you'll have to go right and make the U-turn down at one of the many access points along Main and come back. It's not unusual for people. I see a lot of folks doing that anyway, so I think it shouldn't cause a major interruption at this point.
So Tommy, that lane that's going into Grove Park, somebody hit me up the other day, is the turn lanes that go into Grove Park now, something about some pavement there. It won't go that far, will it? It won't redo the left turn into Grove Park, that intersection?
It will not impact the footprint of that intersection. That lane will terminate into the turn lane into Grove Park at this
So
time.
what are we going to do any work on the intersection, repaving it at that time, or just
No,
stop right there?
It's going to stop right there.
Somebody just look, I've not been out there in a few weeks, but somebody had mentioned the left turn areas going into Grove Park about some, I don't know, the edges or something maybe that eroded or something. I have not been out there, so,
We'll take a look at it.
yeah, okay, thanks.
This project is scheduled to be complete in the fall of this year. We don't have a very specific timeline at this point, but again, going to be a lot of signal construction once the footprint is in place. There's often some delays with that signal equipment, but definitely fall of this year, we'll get this one wrapped up and out of the way. Next project is going to be our latest submission for the A-Trip grant money. This is the additional eastbound lane on West Main, so essentially we're bringing back the 6-lane into town, or the 3rd lane into town to make that a full 6-lane section from Shady Lane down to Flowers Chapel Road. We have just got all the agreements in place, and our consultant is underway with the design. They're out there now doing some of the borings and survey work. We had some initial delays on getting project scope set, and we're going to be under tremendous pressure to try to get this one completed, the design complete by the end of the year in order to let a project. So our goal is to have this one let in time to submit for additional A-Trip money next year. There's a little, we're working closely hand in hand with ALDOT. There's some leeway on when we can let a project. The new applications are due in November, and it looks like they would let us go into December and possibly January letting this project and still qualify for next year's A-Trip funding. So we're hopeful that everything comes into place. We're in working with ALDOT. The majority of this goes through their Troy office. We're not going to Montgomery with a lot of it. So they're willing to work with us and kind of overlap some of their own internal schedules, and hopefully we can fast forward this thing and get it under design and lit by the end of the year. If that's the case, it's probably going to be close to a 1 year. I'd put a 1-year construction time on this one. The majority of the work to bring that lane back into town was done with the initial project headed westbound. Most of your median work is already complete. The signal work is already complete. And for the most part, as you pass through those intersections, all your asphalt is already in place. So it'd just be a matter of, we'll probably have to mill and get rid of some of the permanent striping that is out there that you see in those gore areas with the chevron striping. So we'll mill that out, put down new asphalt there, and then build essentially scab on the through lane coming back into town. So.
Do you anticipate, because all that work is going to be on the south side of the lane, adding that extra lane?
It'll be on the inside, on the median side.
On the median side.
Until we get down to Flowers Chapel, and it's going to have a little bit of a shift and push outward some.
And because we don't have the 3 lanes there, the traffic still backs up pretty good bit. Will we be able to continue to keep the 2 lanes open on most of the time?
Throughout the construction?
Yes, sir.
I would imagine so. That's fairly common. They may have to narrow them down, make them a little tighter just to give a little room to work on the shoulders and make those tie-ins, but I would expect 2 lanes of traffic to remain open.
Okay.
Next up. Nice little project we've got going at Flowers Chapel and Woodburn. Essentially, the work going right now is installing storm drain. That is basically installed at this point. That's why I don't take notes. I get lost in my own notes. Yes, so we're working to get that binder layer in. By the end of July, that turn lane should be complete and functional, operational. The contractor's going to disappear for a few months and come back when the signal equipment shows up. So we're looking at probably December before we're actually able to procure all that equipment to get the signal constructed. So between end of July and December, it's going to look just like it does now with an additional right turn lane. Obviously, everybody can utilize it to their benefit. And then we expect to see the intersection operate much more efficiently once we get that signal in.
So Tommy, once the signal's in, do we finish the paving of Flowers Chapel from where?
We are looking to complete that in the next cycle of paving. I'll just go ahead and bring it back down to
Main.
Okay. Yes, sir. It was very deliberate to
Yeah,
cut
I
it where we
figured,
did last year.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now, Mayor, Main Street. If we go to the next slide, please. So, ultimately, this is just pictures showing what we're doing. I'm going to read off what Public Works has done at this point and then jump into DU, and if I need some help, I may have to go to the crowd. Over the last several months, a contractor with Public Works Department has been completing repairs and improvements to curbing, sidewalk, and storm drain along Main Street. To date, approximately half mile of curbing and sidewalk has been replaced and over 1,200 feet of storm drain has been installed. Currently, we're working on the 2,000 block of West Main, replacing the storm drain inlet tops. That's the last of the work that you're going to see from the Public Works side of the project. We're hoping to have it wrapped up by the end of July, and then our contractors will be out of the way. Just from a driving standpoint, they're the ones that's keeping that right lane closed right now. Very frustrating. So that should go away by the end of July as well. DU keeps things tore up worse than we do. The work that you see right now in the Baptist Church, there's some cuts in place that have been backfilled with crusher run. Those should be patched by Thursday of this week. There's going to be a lot of patching this week. So everything that's cut and open right now should be repaired by Thursday going into the holiday weekend. So anything that you see right now that's dusty, dirty, rough should be patched by the end of this week. Again, weather permitting, everything's got that same asterisk beside it. We can go through some of their work. Right now, you see a lot of their work going on between Montezuma and Iroquois in that area. That should be wrapping up next week, and then as soon as that work's done, they'll schedule the contractor to come in and get that patched as well. So that's, other than a few miscellaneous repairs that they have identified that may need to take place between now and the time ALDOT shows up to do the resurfacing, that should complete their work. They've identified several laterals and tie-ins that are actually at 90-degree angles, a little unexpectedly. May have to dig in and repair a few of those before the big project comes through. ALDOT is still looking at a September letting for this project. We got the weather report coming in live, so we can't, yeah. So if they let the project in September, typically you would see a 2-month delay, which would put us into the November resurfacing. Wintertime paving can get tricky sometimes, so we're hoping that they can actually get in here in November and do the resurfacing on this project. If not, they may have to push it to January, February, depending on the weather in that situation. But the goal of what we've done here is, it's multifaceted. We needed to get some of this curb work complete. We needed to make some storm repairs. DU obviously had a lot of work. They wanted to get some of their infrastructure repaired before we do get new asphalt with the ALDOT project. And then we're also doing a lot of tie-ins to get ready for City Hall project. There's been multiple utilities run across Main Street in that area. Obviously, the top left picture, we're doing some of the curb work ahead of time and beautifying those corners as best we can at this point. So, I'm sure Mayor probably has a question.
Well, really the only point that I would like to make is that, as they're doing their patching, if there is gonna be an extended period of time between the time the ALDOT shows up to resurface, that it's really good job of patching and not just something that's laid down in a hurry. Because I think we are seeing people that are driving up and down and feeling like their cars are getting damaged, and that concerns us all. And, so if our patching crew can be Johnny on the spot, make sure that it gets done in a hurry, and also if it's gonna take a long time, that it stays, that way until they come to the final paving.
We're definitely going to keep an eye on it, and we're going to be a little deliberate and running some heavy loads over some of these. It's only to our benefit to get it repaired as effectively as possible prior to their project coming through. Because anything that's settling now is going to continue to settle, and then we'll just be dealing with failing new asphalt at that point.
Yeah.
We certainly don't want that situation.
Okay. All right. Any questions from commission?
I think the asphalt patches will help. I'm getting behind people that actually stop at the cuts. It's over like train tracks, really, really slow. So I think that'll help with the flow when there's actually asphalt there. I know it's a process that just takes time to put the material down, let it settle, do whatever, yeah, but.
The temporary backfill and the rain and the heavy traffic, it's a bad combination.
Yeah, it is.
And these crews are out there on the weekends and nights fighting it as best as they can. But
I know.
sometimes it does get away from them.
Okay. Anybody good? Okay.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thanks, Tom.
A couple other things. This Friday, city offices will be closed to observe the 4th of July. All of our sanitation services will not be affected. They will run as normal. Saturday, large crowds expected at Rip Hughes for the Dothan United Dragons home game against Tallahassee with a large fireworks show as part of the event. In anticipation of the increased traffic, the city is going to be implementing temporary road closures and traffic flow modifications to ensure public safety and efficient access to and from the stadium. You can go to the city's Facebook page to see a map of what those temporary changes are. Also, beginning this Sunday through the 13th, Westgate Tennis Center will host the USTA Boys 14 National Clay Court Championships with 192 of the nation's top-rated 14-year-old boys competing in both singles and doubles play. Matches will be held at Westgate Tennis Center, Azalea Swim and Tennis Club, and Dothan Country Club, with finals scheduled Sunday, the 13th, at Westgate Tennis Center. The event's free and open to the public. And then we're going to be having our groundbreaking for the pickleball complex next Tuesday, July 8th at 9 o'clock. And that's completes my comments.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, if you're following along on our agenda this morning, it is item number 7, which is communications from the city clerk. We have up first an application for a retail beer and retail table wine license owner all premises for the Holiday Inn Express, Dothan, located at 4090 Ross Clark Circle. If there's anyone that wishes to speak on that particular item on our agenda this morning, if they would step to the podium and do so at this time. All right. Seeing none, then call for a motion and a second for approval or denial.
Motion for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second is for approval. Any discussion on the item? All in favor say yay.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. All right, item number 8 on your agenda is resolution number 2025-154, declaring the following named persons being the only persons filing a statement of candidacy for the office indicated for the August 5th, 2025 election, and is duly elected for a 4-year term beginning October 6th on 2025. And that would be Associate Commissioner District 5, Gant Pierce, Associate Commissioner District 6, David Crutchfield, Board of Education Member District 4, Scott Childers, Board of Education member, District 6, Ari Jenkins.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second is for approval. Any discussion?
So if I write, if I write in a candidate for District 6, is that vote going to count, or?
Can I vote no?
I would like to just, it's been a real honor to serve for the past several terms, and I look forward to this next term. So, and I guess, and this is something I never thought I'd even be involved with, but my friend over here from District 4, decided that this would be something I'd be good at, and, you know, like a lot of his ideas, I didn't trust it, you know, that he said that's what I should do. So I prayed about it, thought about it, and I think it took me a week or two to decide that I would go out on a limb that I never thought that I would do. So it's been a real honor, and it continues to be an honor and a pleasure to work with folks in District 6 as well as the whole city, because I look at each district together makes the city better, and so I love doing things in all districts. So I look forward to serving. Going to miss Commissioner Kirkland and Ferguson as they move on to other things, and I look forward to working with everyone else, and no matter who's in office. So it's a great place. I think Dothan's a lot better. I moved here, you gave stats the other day, I think somebody in 74, when it was half this size. That's when I came to Dothan. So we're moving toward the things that I've always wanted, which is that our kids and our grandkids could come back here and live and work and enjoy the things that have happened over the last 50 years. So those that have served before us and continue to serve have done a great job of doing it. You mentioned it a couple times, fiscally responsible and spending just the money that we have. And so it's just, again, I'm honored to do this, serve for another term and continue to be, you know, it's kind of that connector where folks need to be connected with somebody in the city, because most of the things can be handled very easily if you just, you know, don't have to go on social media and say that everything's awful. Phone call, and it's usually something that we're providing. People just don't know about it. So it's a great department. The department heads and your staffs are tremendous. I mean, until you're here and have to work with them to realize all the things they do, and a lot of them way more than 40 hours a week. So I appreciate all you do and responding when I call. And I know you don't want to answer, but you do most of the time on that. So I appreciate it. So thank you. Thanks again.
Well, congratulations to you and to all the rest of the members as well on the election. And so with that, we'll call the vote. All in favor say yea.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. All right, thank you. Item number 9 is resolution number 2025-155, entering into a renewal agreement between Rose Hill Senior Center and Southeast Alabama Regional Planning and Development Commission to comply with the requirements of the Center for Workforce Inclusion Senior Community Service Employment Program operated under Title V of the Older Americans Act.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and second is for approval. Any discussion? All in favor say yea.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. Item 10 is resolution number 2025-156, entering into a renewal agreement between Rose Hill Senior Center and Southeast Alabama Regional Planning and Development Commission to comply with the requirements of the Alabama Department of Senior Services Senior Community Service Employment Program operated under Title V of the Older Americans Act.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion is second for approval. Any discussion? All in favor say yea.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. Item 11, resolution number 2025-157, approving a statement of work with Nordston Communications Incorporated, doing business as Black Box Network Services for security upgrade of the Mitel phone system at a cost of approximately $14,685.73.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second for approval. Any discussion or questions? All in favor say yea.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. Item 12 is resolution number 2025-158. It's awarding the bid, entering into a contract and issuing a notice to proceed to Southern Coatings of Tarpon Springs LLC for the 2025 City of Dothan Bridge Painting Project in the amount of $172,260.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion is second for approval. Any discussion?
What bridges do you cover?
It's on the second sheet there.
Second sheet. Appreciate it.
All right. Any other questions? All in favor say yea.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. Item 13, resolution number 2025-159, approving the final change order with Video Industrial Services Incorporated for video inspection of the Mussey Sanitary Sewer trunk line inside Ross Clark Circle which results in a cost decrease of the total contract bid in the amount of $135,486.50, making the final adjusted contract price $218,213.50.
Motion approval.
Second.
Motion and a second is for approval. Any discussion?
That may be a record there on the decrease. That's incredible. That's great. You did a good job, Mayor. Excellent.
All right, any in favor say yea.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. Item 14 is resolution number 2025-160. It's awarding the bid, entering into a contract and issuing a notice to proceed and other related documents to Donald Smith Company Incorporated for the refurbishment of well number 35 in the amount of $488,266.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second is approved. Any discussion? All in favor say yea.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. Item 15, resolution number 2025-161. It's entering into a contract with UES Professional Services 18 LLC for inspection, testing, and monitoring services for the new pickleball court complex project in the amount of $64,250 and appropriating the funds for the said contract.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion and second for approval. Any discussion?
Do we have any kind of rough time frame again? Is it later this year or early next year when, things might actually start being put together, not torn apart, but put together?
We'll let the project start. We'll start construction in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Several month timeline to completion for the whole project.
So so is it spring of next year? Is that, okay, all right, thanks.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions? All in favor say yea.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. Item 16, resolution number 2025-162. It's awarding the bids and approving other purchases over $30,000 by the city and appropriating the funds for the said purchases.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion and the second is for approval. Any discussion? All in favor say yea.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. Item 17, resolution number 2025-163, approving the advance travel request for city employees.
Motion approval. Second.
Motion and second is for approval. Any discussion? All in favor say yea.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor say yea.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. All right, sir, turn it over for the admin portion of the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First item on the administrative meeting is the approval of minutes from June 17th, 2025 meeting.
Motion approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the minutes. Any discussion or changes? All in favor say yea.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay.
We have no privilege over the floor nor any other items on the list.
All right, thank you so much. We adjourn. Appreciate it.